Hey everyone, welcome to another Conversations in Newmarket with Neighbor. I've got my guests here, Barb and Josh, and we're going to be talking about lots of things happening in the town.
Hi there, Brad Jones here, or Sensei Brad Jones as I'm known in the dojo. Great to be sponsoring this podcast. Our dojo has just reopened on Main Street after several months of being closed and running Zoom classes. All the protocols are in place. All the cleaning regime is working well, and members are coming back. And surprisingly, many new students have decided to start this month. So I'm looking forward to more and more coming in, and stay safe out there, everyone. Thanks.
So that's good. So thanks a lot. We can never do these things, or we probably could do the things, but we wouldn't eat without the sponsorship that we have. So thanks a lot to our sponsors. So as I said, we've got Barb and Josh on the podcast today. And first of all, we'll introduce Barb. Barb, why don't you tell us about yourself and what you're up to?
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Barb Wallace. I live in Newmarket, but I also work at an agency called Girls Incorporated, and we support girls throughout York Region. And our main mission is to encourage all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. So what that means is strong physically and mentally, smart, stay in school, study those hard subjects, and get a good job, set goals, break them, achieve them. And bold is learning to stand up for yourself, which is typically more difficult for Canadians and for women. And also learning to stand up for others, helping them support them, be an ally.
Awesome. Now, do you run courses and mentoring? And
we do. So we run programs. We just finished our 2019 review, and last year we were in 44 schools throughout York Region doing either an after-school program, workshops on anti-bullying, self-esteem, healthy sexuality. And we also do evening programs, parent-child, father-daughter, STEM, let's build a robot kind of thing, mother-daughter, self-defense, wellness.
Okay, let's stop on the build a robot thing. I always wanted to build a robot.
Yeah, it's really fun. So we teach them the basics of coding, and then sometimes the dads get too into it and the daughters stand back, but mostly they work on it together, and it's really teaching them that STEM, which is where we want girls to think about careers, is fun.
I think even as Canadians, don't we want to go down a pathway of technology and innovation and stuff?
Yeah.
So we'll come back to Barb because it's not the Barb show. But anyway,
it could be.
Yeah. I mean, the show is about like our neighbors, and we're
Yes.
just chatting about what you're up to. So thanks for that, and we'll come back to it.
Okay.
We'll be giving you all sorts of plugs and things like that. So also on the show is Joshua Campbell, local realtor. You tell us who you're all about and what you're up to.
Yeah, it's Joshua Campbell. I have a local real estate company called Knowledge Broker. Been working in the business for almost 15 years. I like the Girls Inc. though. I got a daughter now. She's 3. And I'm thinking about robots right now.
Very cool.
I do a lot of community involvement. I find I probably spend half my time these days doing community involvement, whether it's on boards or raising money or just volunteering back and giving back to the community. I think it's just really important. And you'd be surprised how many people in this world really look for people like that in the community to mesh with. So, I mean, it's funny how when we get involved and we do things that we give back, you end up looking around the room and you see the same people. So
we definitely on this show want to encourage some people to get involved. Like that would be certainly part of our mandate today.
There's a
and all the information on you guys will be on our website as well, so you can always refer back to it at the end. But you touched on a good subject there.
It's natural to some people, but then not to everybody.
Right.
And it's funny how like the people look in and they think, oh, it's always the same people. I don't want to go and get involved. But then it's like as soon as you do, then you're looped in and you enjoy it, right? So I mean, real estate's a facet of my life, but at the same time, I like getting involved with people and doing new things.
And I
just
know, like
this.
even from the business community, like, you know, like we've been friends for a long time, but
Yeah.
you were the president of the Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
and so you're certainly active in the business community and all the ideation that goes into.
Yeah, and I do a lot of
Things
stuff
like
with
that.
the town too, just on the ground, and figure out what's going on, what's coming next.
Ground, like as in like shoveling
Sure,
sidewalks.
if I have to.
Yeah. But I think I think it's touched on a cool kind of topic. Maybe we could go down and a little bit on how, as members of the community, when you get involved with not-for-profits and entities like Girls Inc., on how even myopically as a business person that can benefit you.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think there's some things, like even with our sister company, Snapped, when I started it, it was just based on taking happy photos of people and kind of rewarding them, if you will. Like, take a picture of Josh at the robot building with his daughter and saying, hey, Girls Inc. could use volunteers or donations, click here. It was just a matter of engaging like positively about things. But strategically saying, hey, I'm rewarding Josh for participating in that. I'm helping Girls Inc. raise money or get volunteers or whatever the example was. And yet, some business people don't understand that. That's actually an easy concept. You ingratiating yourself in the community. I know you're an altruistic guy, but there's certainly a business strategy.
Yeah,
in
there
doing
is.
that,
I
too.
find the business strategy also complements in the fact that when you learn about other organizations, you know how to apply it to your business.
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
go out there and you see how they run, and they come up with a really unique idea. You're in the room with smart people. Before
I
you know it,
kind
you're
of
learning
feel
from
like
them too.
Josh is going to be doing robot building in his basement.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out where to get the pieces.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway.
That's the
Yeah.
goal. But it's also about young professionals. If they join a board, they can build their skills outside of their job to then help them with their job. So if they have never had a lot of responsibility in their day job, but they volunteer on a board of directors, they could learn about, financial planning. They can learn about writing a business plan. They can maybe help out in the role of treasurer and really build their skill set that will help them in their next step in their career. And
It is even a career. I know a few clients of mine that are retired and they work on boards and they get paid to work on boards.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, that's their retirement.
Just
and
so you know,
they're-
Snap board, you get $20 a year.
I know. We get lunch.
Yeah, we have a bar in the back,
Yeah.
right? So you can have a few drinks too.
I'm going to sign up for that board.
Yeah. But that's kind of interesting because we are looking as a company to expand and change the way I think, the times now, we're looking at doing unique things. At one point we looked at, because we had a franchise model, saying, could we partner with a charity in a community as long as they recognize that it's not just them in the community, and that could be our franchise partner, so it becomes an opportunity for them to make money
Yeah.
driving through a real business and ingratiating themselves in the community. We're still kind of looking at that kind of stuff as models, like as we expand
Yeah.
and all the tech and stuff,
Well,
right?
a lot of not-for-profits, and this is my third that I've been an executive director at, run a model where they have a social enterprise. And I was on the board of directors at Habitat for Humanity. And that is, in fact, those restores fund the administration
Right.
for Habitat. So when you donate to Habitat, it goes to the houses because they don't need money to pay the office staff or to keep the lights on. The stores cover all of that.
It's really
It's
interesting.
a great model, having
Yeah.
a social enterprise where they,
Yeah.
dare I say, not a competition for Girls Inc., but Girl Guide cookies. That covers a lot of the expenses for Girl Guides of Canada.
Yeah, there's a board that I'm on right now, and it's the CMHA York Simcoe, so it's the Canadian Mental Health Association, and these guys, they do rely on a lot of government money, and there's a lot of government money out there for certain initiatives, but at the same time, you can't rely on it. Like you gotta, can it keep your lights on? I mean, if you put your eggs in those baskets, you can get in trouble. So look in the philanthropy side, it's like there's a lot of, that's how you do your connections with people. There's people out there that want to give.
Yeah.
They want to give. It makes them feel good to give. They actually like giving. but they don't know who to give to, and then you become the conduit for people, and also whether it's giving knowledge or money, whatever it may be.
One of the things we always big at, like in wearing my other hat, is ensuring that the people that do want to give, because I don't think it's always just 100% altruistic. They don't want to. I want to give. I like the recognition.
Agreed.
I don't need it over the top, but I certainly don't want to be abused.
100%.
And no disrespect to Habitat, but I actually went by a Habitat, this is years ago, and really, I think it was Home Depot and Bank of Montreal or somebody part of it. They had a 4x8 sign by the house painted. Thank our sponsors, Home Depot. And there was weeds growing in front of it.
Yeah.
And I actually took a picture and I said, this is the antithesis of what you want to do to your sponsors.
Yeah.
Because they're really not getting that much, perhaps the
Very
logo.
little. Yeah.
And you abuse that. Whereas at Snap, we're like, what can we do to enhance that? I know we're doing things like augmented reality, for example. Imagine if we had the logo come alive.
Sure.
And it's you, Josh.
Even right
and-
here.
Right? And it came alive off the sign. Hey, it's Josh. This is why I'm doing it. I love giving back. I love being involved. I'm a realtor. It makes sense to be connected to Habitat for Humanity. I'm not trying to bash them.
No.
I'm just trying to, because I think it's a great organization. But you want to enhance, like, even I remember the music festival in town when Cher used to run it. I said, why don't we, and TD Bank sponsored it. I said, why don't we take a local musician and literally drop them into all the branches around town, which can promote the festival, but the musician could even sell CDs or something. It's not going to be wickedly impactful, but it's recognizing to TD, hey, we want to connect it better than just your logo.
Yeah. People want something.
They do.
Right.
There's
Like
always
when
something.
corporations donate, like the local TD, they want to come out and they want to be a part of it. Like they want their staff to volunteer, come out, be a part of the event, and then also give a check so that it's meaningful to the staff.
Well, and you even talked about, financial planning, writing biz plans. For sure, they want to be part of that.
They totally do. And they want to be a part of, we run a program called Financial Literacy to help girls learn how to budget, how to set up a bank account, really simple things. But if you don't learn it from your parents, where are you going to learn it?
But TD's thing, without speaking,
Yeah,
let
and
me
there's many
speak for
banks.
TD.
Yes, speak for TD.
TD just wants a $3 charge. But no, I'm joking. But really, they're planting a seed so that 15-year-old who's learning about financial literacy is still going to go to university many years. But 10 years from now, they're going, I need a mortgage. I need a line of credit.
Sure.
I'm starting my cool T-shirt company with lots of
Yes.
swear words.
Yeah.
I'm starting all that kind of stuff. And that's the path I'm on. And they probably can actualize that and say, this actually equals 500,000 or whatever it may be. And it's worth the investment now to help. We're talking about investment and fundraising and things like that. And I don't know if you're allowed to, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Barb, what percentage of the money that Girls Inc. gets is, say, from government or something? And what percent would be fundraising, like from the public or corporations?
So we have a lot of government. So we're sponsored by or funded through, of course, United Way, Greater Toronto Area, which is Toronto, York, and Peel. We're sponsored or funded through York Region Community Investment Fund. We are also sponsored through the Ontario government, the After School Program for Kids at Risk. And then our other funders are recently we received a $329,000 donation from Ontario Trillium Foundation.
Nice.
To help us grow, really double our size over the next 3 years. And our other funders we do have some corporations that sponsor us. Benefit Cosmetics, which is an international conglomerate owned by Louis Vuitton and Moet Chandon.
Nice.
They sponsor us because they support women and they wanted to also support girls. And so each year we get a donation of $30,000
Nice.
from the corporation, plus
amazing.
lots of stuff, swag that we can give the girls.
So all the girls at Girls Inc.
Yes.
are walking around with $5,000 purses?
No, but we do get some fabulous makeup samples that all the girls can take home and play with. And they also come out and help us for our prom prep. That's our signature event that we do every year, where we gather grade 8 graduation and prom dresses from homes, stores, restores. And
Well, I know you're across the street from us, and I know Mac and Sean were over there, and they said it was like like the entire building was filled with prom dresses.
filled with dresses. And then we set up events, big one in Newmarket at Old Town Hall. And we go up to Sutton and Keswick to help these girls that won't go to grad or won't go to prom if they don't have a dress. The dress is the number one thing.
Sure.
And we help them. Here's a dress. Here's how you can style it. We have volunteers coming in, makeup artists, hairdressers, showing them how to, look good, and send them off on their way.
Would that be something that you would need, like at that time of year, volunteers and that?
We absolutely do. And we get volunteers from the community. We have volunteers from some local corporations, RBC, the TD Bank over at Yonge and Davis. We also have American Express head office down in Markham. They send their women in leadership group up here, and we have about 30 women, and they help unload trucks and load dresses and set up stations and help the girls and pack swag bags.
I don't know about you, Josh, but I'm kind of tired. It sounds like a lot of work.
But I was thinking that I know what I think happened. The cynic in my mind went first of like, okay, well, they would want Louis Vuitton and Moet would want to like plant the seed early so that they could get the business later on. But I don't know if that's the case, because I think like a lot of these organizations, as we said, they like to give back. And I think that the way that they do is they try to match values. So it's kind of like, is the values with like Moet and Louis Vuitton probably like confidence, and then like the organization is to build confidence. So it's kind of like, I think the values is where people connect. And I think that's where the connection of like, if you're going to do volunteer, you're going to give back. If the values match, then it's a perfect fit. But it's kind of like, if you go in there looking, I want this out of it, meaning like I want some kind of an exchange, it's not that. But if they go in with the basis of like the value side of things, I think that naturally things actually probably work out in the favor.
I think 100% you're on the right track there, and that's where people are. Do you find that, like, certainly what, COVID or whatever has gotten to us, do you find that people are connecting better? Like I definitely feel more connected to Girls Inc. And not because, I don't even know why we originally connected. Because we're fundraising and one of our music things.
Yes.
So things like that brought us together, and now we're friends.
Well, I think you've forgotten something, because I was going back through our books last year, and I noticed that you guys sponsored the Snowflake Ball.
Okay, so, because Mel used to run Snapped Aurora.
Yes.
So there's definitely a connection.
Yes.
Yeah, we have those connections. But I mean, as Snapped, I'm connected to a lot of people, but not quite so personal with everybody. But now, ironically, when I've got to socially distance, I'm more connected to people.
Do you find connected or less distracted?
Yeah, maybe it's less distracting.
I don't know either. Like, I know the only thing that we're doing these days, like we're not running out to different events where we're spreading ourselves quite thin, whether it's talking to 30 people in the room. So now we talk to one, clearly. Like the amount of people we can talk to is reduced. And are we online just looking at one thing, and then that one thing is making us focus on something? So connected, I think we're developing stronger relationships for sure.
I've never been more busy, and yet more efficient too.
Agreed.
I remember we were doing a campaign for virtual fireworks, and we had to talk to all these communities and charities and things around the province in Canada. And I remember having on that conversation, there was somebody from Peterborough, somebody from Guelph, somebody from London, there was 5 communities. And I thought to myself after, this took 45 minutes. That would have taken me 4 days to have all these meetings if I had to physically do them a year ago, right? So, but I did feel more connected somehow too. There's that natural empathy, right? I think that's what we all need to be sort of not manipulating, but encouraging and watering, is we're all being empathetic We're not Americans, so we're not polarized, but we're all empathetic to the needs and understand as business people, we understand the challenges of a not-for-profit and how do you operate when there is all that physical interaction that you used to do. How do you operate sort of with one hand tied behind your back, and what are things that you can do? And I know even with our building, because we have a big building, that we're saying to people, if there's a physical need that you might have, like, I don't know, Christmas gifts or maybe you have too many dresses, we might have the capacity, being a neighbor, to say, you know, we could bring 100 over here or whatever it may be, or that kind of thing. So it might not be me cutting a check because I'm also getting kicked in the shins that way. But it might be that kind of thing, or you know, let's rip the piece of bread in half and now we're both
I think that's worth
eating,
more.
right?
Yeah.
It's more than a check.
Well, I think that's one thing that will come at the on the other side.
Yeah.
It's like the community and friendships and depth. And we'll recognize it's not all about the money or
No. And it's about, like, for Girls Inc., we used to be in 45 schools, and now the schools have said, you know, no outside providers. So we've had to pivot, and we're doing Zoom after school programs. We're doing, we've realized pretty quickly that there's a lot of hungry people out there and families are really struggling. And we were able to apply for some of that federal funds that were coming out for COVID relief. And we've been delivering hot meals. We've been picking up boxes from the York Region Food Network and delivering those good food boxes, which are $50 worth of fresh fruits, vegetables, you know, bags of potatoes, apples, things that families will need, and also some grocery gift cards. And we've also started doing mental health check-ins, phoning the girls on our roster. And we served 1,000 girls last year. So we're not phoning 1,000 girls, but we're phoning those regular girls that we would normally see every week, checking in. How are you doing? How's homework going? How's virtual school? You know, are you getting along with your brother? All of those things now that many were locked at home at the beginning, and just a way to support them in that way.
And I do think we've sort of, not totally, but somewhat figured it out a little bit. Like it's better than the beginning. Let's say that. Right?
Oh yeah.
And
I think we all knew how to do it. We just never had to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
maybe
we
that's
just slowly. I have a question about do you ever teach them to call each other? Like, do you, like, instead of like feeding a horse water, do you lead them to water and teach them how to get to water? Like, meaning, can you tell them, like, call your friends and check in on their homework?
So, well, one thing that we do is a really powerful workshop that we do is how to design your perfect friend. And let's talk about the characteristics. What do you want in a friend? And they write things down like friendly, kind, easy to talk to, characteristics that they're really looking for. And then we say, okay, take a minute and look at your list and tell me, how many of these characteristics do you have? And really help them, like, stop and think, because you need to also be a good friend. And we teach them kindness and empathy. Well, those are natural things, but also how to tap into that, you know, and to look at themselves.
That's a really interesting thing. And what I'm going to leave us with, we're going to take a little break. But what would define being a really good neighbor? Like, even in Newmarket, a Newmarket neighbor. Maybe we can riff.
And are we good neighbors ourselves?
Yeah, maybe we can riff on that just
that.
after the break.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same path, because really part of this show is like helping our community get not better, because it's not that we're bad, but how can we enhance it? How can we make it better? Or what are the things we want to see? So I like that concept, and maybe after the break we'll just kind of go down with that. So we'll just take a break.
That's a great idea.
Someone's got to pay for this show, so we'll listen to what they have to say.
Hey everybody, Bill here with Market Brewing, and I know we are in a lockdown once again and temporarily closed, but the fun is not ending by any means. What can you do? Well, you can still get beer. You can order it online for free local delivery, or you can come by the tap room and pick it up. We're also making sanitizer that was recently commended by the Ontario government That's available online or in store as well. Hey, how about the fun events, trivia, bingo, live music? That's still going on, but we're moving it online for the time being. So you can join us for free and play, whether that's trivia or jump in and grab a bingo card and do that, or live music via Snap. That's still going too. And speaking of Snap, we're working together to come up with some wicked events around the community, some community markets supporting small local business. So more than ever, let's stick together, support local, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hey everyone, we're back. Thanks to our sponsors for paying for the show. So where we left it, we sort of said, hey, maybe we could talk about, and this, we always look for the one nugget in the show, and we've had a lot of good nuggets, but what is the one takeaway? And maybe it is, what would we look for in having a good Newmarket neighbor? What are those characteristics and that we're looking for? And is there things we could activate? Not saying that we're shrinks or anything like that. But you know what I mean? What are those kind of things? Could we, and I'm just going to maybe get it going. Could we have a day where it's like Newmarket is celebrating a good neighbor day and you're just raking leaves for your neighbor or whatever it may be? Like maybe sometimes it's just a one-off thing that kind of ignites something. What do you think?
There's definitely, like working in real estate, I'm always looking at houses. It's just what I do. And like I was dropping my daughter off this morning to school, and there's a couple streets that I really love. Like you just go down them and you see good people, and you think to yourself, like, could you ever live on that street? You'd love to live on that street. And then you wonder if a house goes up for sale, all the neighbors on the street probably get a little worried, because they all know that there's something coming that they're not used to. They don't know what it's going to do. It's going to affect it.
The unknown, right?
Sure. And you look on the outside going like, oh, I'd love to live on that street, but do they want you on that street? And do you even really want to be on that street anyway? So like thinking about like being a good neighbor, whether it's you go into it or do you want to be accepting? So I'd almost say like we have to be accepting to be probably a good neighbor, probably accepting of different people, whether it's the way that they cook, the way that they clean their yard. I don't think that we can go down the street and have everybody be the exact same, because if we're all the exact same, redundancy is boring. Can people...
Unless, of course, they were like the three of us, then they'd be
Then they'd be cool.
superhuman.
Yeah,
Exactly.
super cool.
But then we also, as we go into a house or a new neighborhood or something like that, we ultimately have to be accepting of what's the common culture there too. So like, I mean, if people do take care of their properties, then pick it up and you become accepting of the way that people take care of themselves as well. So it's like, I think it goes part and parcel. I think acceptance would be a big thing for a lot of people to be good neighbors.
But to truly get to acceptance, isn't it founded in understanding?
Sure.
So you talk about, I don't
Open-mindedness.
know who's coming into the house. And is our instinct, I don't accept and I have to get to acceptance? Or, because what I was thinking is, and what you kind of touched on was, I think you talked about food and different cultures and things. Wouldn't it be, what if you had like a giant neighborhood potluck?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that.
What
Or
you
even
get
like
at?
a street party.
That's what I mean, like a
Yeah.
street party, but it's like a potluck. And not exactly, but we're shutting down the street. We're going to put a giant table out here and everyone brings something, and let's have the person talk about the cultural food that they might be presenting. And so...
And teach about it.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, hey, this is pierogies or whatever. And I'm from Hungary and it's really good with sour cream and bacon. Are you guys hungry?
did that.
Trying to make it.
Yeah,
happen.
I am, and I have a Polish grandmother, so pierogies are my thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be a thing. And then you're telling me about Poland or Hungary or wherever your grandmother's from. And then I'd be like, well, that's cool, right? I didn't know that.
We went to my wife hooked up this, she wanted at like the York region does usually a winter kind of event where they do artesian markets inside the region building. So my wife won this opportunity where we got to go and eat dinner inside of I think were they Turkish or Lebanese? Either way, we go over to their house, Muslim family, and we went in, didn't know anybody. Knock on the door, come on in. The table was set. They had a couple over. We were like the new couple, and we literally just sat down with strangers and ate their food, and the food was unreal, over the top. I did realize that they don't drink, so you don't bring wine to an event like that. However, they down coffee like it's nobody's business. But I mean, like going in and just being...
and Turkish coffee
huge,
is...
strong.
3 days later, Josh is like, I gotta get to
awake,
sleep.
yeah.
I gotta get to sleep.
And just the learning that we got from that event, or like that dinner in general, going in open-minded, to also realize you gotta respect people's cultures. learning about the food, just learning about them in general. And you get more out of observation, I find.
Yeah.
You can ask questions, but just observing and being there. So we almost have to be in those opportunities. If we don't put ourselves out there, we'll never have them.
What if, like, I like pushing the envelope. So, like with Snap, we have 150 locations. And so I always think like this big grand thing. So here's my big grand thought. What if we did like a lucky draw a neighbor, and you're either going to be a host and a guest.
Yeah, you flip.
And invite random people. Would people do that? I would do it. You talked about
It's almost like
what you won, but you create some kind of lottery.
Yeah.
That you go, okay, let's say I didn't know Barb. I'm going to Barb's place. Her grandmother's going to be there. We're eating pierogies. They're telling me I'm experiencing the culture. Certainly there's a bond that would come in, a respect that comes out of that.
Like a chain letter, but chain letter of like hosting.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's up to the individual to do what it is they want to do and showcase. And I think if we were part of that, our instinct is we're going to do a really good job with it. We're not just going to have, here's your peanut butter. So we're going to have people over. But I think they say with food, it is culturally one of those, you talked about like going back to sort of Maslow's hierarchy of needs with Girls Inc., like lots of people not eating properly, and how you bring it back, you've got to take it to that. So I'm talking a bit of an evolution of that, but if you did something like that, would you guys think that's a good idea?
That'd be great.
I think so. And that's how you learn about and open up and talk is the art of eating or sharing food. I think that connects people.
Yeah.
That's the commonality, right?
Yeah.
And then they open up and talk. Like I picture this is even for kids, for sure for kids. Adults, we already kind of have our own thoughts. But I mean, to have kids realize that at a very young age.
Yeah.
The idea of sharing and being
bring your
neighborly.
family.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's really powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Catch 'em
I'm
young.
actually going to start this. I'm actually going to start. It could be a yearly thing. It may be only get 100 people or families participating the first year.
Yep.
Would you guys help me with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Share it on social.
Yes.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
It's kind of unique.
Yeah.
Because, and it's kind of the antithesis. I know with Black Lives Matter, for example, when that all happened, as Snapped, we're assholes. Sorry for my language. We're like doing a crap job at being inclusive. Like I grew up in the Kingsway in Toronto. You can't get more white privilege. And, and I went to Western. That's like
Same
check, right? And so
That's our
right
Ivy
away I
League,
reached
yeah.
out to NAC and said, we're doing I need to understand more. I understand now, but I need to understand the depth. And I think that's of the same ideation, right? That you're the greater the empathy you have, and then the greater community you create. So we'll start with food. Just so you know, whoever draws me, I'm bringing wine.
Me too.
So, or at my party.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so why don't we get that going? I'm
I
going to
think
encourage
so.
that. I'll put that on the. We'll share it on social media. I'll definitely put it on part of what the show is about.
It's a great idea.
So if we're gonna start winding it up, what are some things that Girls Inc. could be looking for now and it's sort of in the foreseeable future, besides Josh and his daughter showing up for Robot?
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Every week.
Every week. So we are really looking for, when we talked about it at the beginning, we're looking for some new members to join our board of directors. You don't have to have board experience. We're looking for people that come in with business experience that can help us with things like HR, can advise me on finance. So if you're an accounting, if you have marketing experience, we're really hoping to grow our brand in a sense so that Girls Inc. becomes a household name. We also are looking for people that can advise us on fundraising, fund development, volunteerism, and really support. That board is who I go to when I'm not an expert in any of these things, but who I go to if I need help.
Okay, cool. And definitely on the podcast page, they can connect with you and send you an email, and we can giddy up from there.
Yeah, thank you.
What about you, Josh? What
Needs?
got going on? Yeah, needs.
2 kids.
more listings.
I need the real estate's the easy
babysitter.
side. I like to have more time. I find personally, like if I could get getting involved in making people aware and like in almost getting people to know about what's going on in the community. I feel like it makes people feel included. So I mean, like if anybody has anything going on that they need some support or anything to get behind, that's what I'm in there for. So if people have something, they can always reach out to me, and I'm more than welcome to always learn, because I mean, like that's how you connect.
Get
the
a little
dots.
more Turkish coffee in you, and you're good to go for another month.
I know.
Yeah.
Then the sleep problem becomes.
Yeah. So
But yeah, overall, I mean, I'm pretty good, except for more time in our lives, and we slowly
you
try
have
to
two
get them
little
back.
kids, and
Oh God,
yeah.
yeah.
So he's looking for relief.
Something I
Yes.
probably can't have.
But, yeah, so that's great, and I want to thank you guys for being on this show. It's been lively and interesting, and getting to know you a bit better, and that's great. And we're gonna take that takeaway, and we're gonna help you, Barb. And we're
Thank you.
What do you need though?
I don't probably need food.
What do you need?
I definitely need time,
yeah.
right? Because I have all these things. My head spins all the time.
Yeah.
And we're like, as an organization, Neighbor and Snap, we're evolving at like a super speed. Like COVID has accelerated all this stuff we're up
Yeah.
to. And I literally don't have enough time.
Maybe the
I
way to get
literally
time.
am now going, okay, I got to work 6-day weeks
Yeah.
to kind of get caught up. And I feel like I'm behind all the
I
time.
think we have to ask for help. I think
Yeah.
we really do. We have to
Yeah.
rely on friends and
Yeah.
colleagues and whatnot. I think we get time back by asking.
Great. So
Yeah.
you guys, can you
Yeah,
take
let's
my
do it.
emails on Monday and you take my
You
Tuesday
get my
emails?
emails on Monday.
Yeah.
We just trade inboxes.
Yeah. So I think time, but like finding the time that I can help more,
Mm-hmm.
and then not over committing to. So I'd love to help you, Barb, but I probably never could be on a board because I would ultimately let you down, saying he only shows up every third meeting.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to. It's
No.
just I get too busy.
Yeah.
So a little more time, and that's probably an organizational thing for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
So thanks you guys for being again
Thank
on
you.
the show, and
Thank
we'll wrap
you.
it up.
Thanks so much.
Take care.